right, so at this point, we've been able to create our cohort table, create our cohort charts, and we've seen how we can use these cohort charts to observe user retention rate and how we can monitor the retention rate from one cohort to another. So moving forward, I want to also give you a quick demonstration of how you can use this cohort analysis to observe other things about our customer behavior. For instance, we can choose to observe the quantity of products bought by each cohort. So to do that, let's move on to our code and create a new section for it. Quantity bought. All right. So to do that, just like we did earlier, all we have to do is create a new data frame and call it quantity bought. Okay. And equals it will be a sub data frame from our original data frame. We're grouping by cohort dates cohorts index. Okay. And this time the column we'll be looking at will be our quantity column. All right. Okay. So all right. And now we have to do is perform the dot sum method on it. Let's have a view on board. Okay, so make it a data frame, we can reset index. Organized. Now, as you can see, we created a new data frame with the cohort dates we use for creating the cohorts, the index for monitoring how many months away from acquisition, in particular, and the quantity to know how many quantity of products they bought month after month. So with this now, we can create our cohort pivot chart, pivot table rather, like we did earlier on. So quantity table would be equal to, yeah, quantity board, yeah, quantity boards, because we're creating a pivot table from that. Pivot index. The index, like we did before, is our cohort dates. So we're going to do our cohort, and the columns would be cohort index, okay? And the values would be quantity. Okay? And let's run this and see what we get. Good. So now looking at this, we can see the individual cohorts on the y-axis, and inside the table, we have the quantity bought from each cohort from 1 month to the other. Now we can reformat this into a more suitable format. Let's copy this and dot index equals to quantity. Let's go table the index dot str. Good. Now with these, we can create our cohorts diagram or cohort charts. It's quite similar to what we did earlier on here. So I'll have to just copy this and bring it down here and paste over here. So instead of new cohort table, it will be quantity table. And instead of percentage, you can put it in the master format. All right. So now you can see this is also a very simple demonstration of how we can use cohort analysis to observe other things about customer behavior aside just the retention rates. Now we can see the number of quantity bought from one cohort to the other one, and for every successive month, we can observe how the quantity bought has fluctuated from one month to the other, and just so on and so forth. We can also choose to, instead of observing the sum, we can choose to observe the mean and see the mean or the average quantity bought from one cohort to the other, and basically draw insights from there. There you go. This is a cohort chart showing the average quantity bought. And you'll notice that the average quantity doesn't really fluctuate as much as we would expect. And that goes to tell you that as the number of customers were reducing, perhaps a few of them also bought large number of quantity of product. That's why we're having an average of around 50 for all, although the quantity bought was reducing and the number of customers that purchased from one month to the other in each cohort also reduced. So this is a very classic example, a very simple, simplified example of how we can use cohort analysis to observe other things about our customers. Just aside the retention rates, aside churn rates, we can also observe the number of quantity bought. We cannot choose to observe the mean amount of quantity or whatever feature you want to see from one cohort to the other. So that's it for that. So thank you for joining this section and see you next.